a lot happened this weekend with both the baseball teams. Once again, it's funny. They did the same stuff last year with the Mets and Yankees when they start out. Actually, the Mets started out well last year. I forget the exact situation with the Yankees, but when they would go into a funk, they kind of did it together. When they'd come out of it, they kind of did it together. And you're having the same thing happen, at least this week, where both teams just dreadful on their homestands. And actually, surprisingly so, I thought the Mets maybe were going to turn a corner and start to play better baseball. I certainly didn't think that they would go 1-5 on a homestand against the crappy Diamondbacks and A's. And by the way, maybe those teams are better than I gave them credit for before. And I certainly didn't think the Yankees were going to do the same thing against the A's and then on the road against Tampa Bay. Worst case, you're thinking maybe 3-3. All right, maybe they win a couple of games, but it was an ugly weekend for both teams. I'm going to start with the Mets here because I think that they have more legitimate issues than the Yankees do. We'll get to the Yankees. Don't worry, there's another frustrating game by them. And I understand people are going to get on Boone for certain things or get on the offense, the bottom of the order. I think ultimately, well, here's the big picture thing. Ultimately, I think both teams are going to be fine. I really believe that. I know that it's inherent in us as fans. And I'll be honest with you. If I did this 5 hours ago live, I didn't want to do it because, the post games are going on, the Masters. I'm watching the Masters. I got to take my dog for a walk. If it turned into a family walk, I got stuff to do during Sunday. So, and it's a good thing because at least gave me time to calm down a little bit. I understand, and I've been getting texts about it even before the games today. Oh, the Mets suck. I hope you kill the Mets. They're dreadful. You got to go rip them and Mendy this and Lindor that. I get it. So I understand why both fan bases are extremely upset with this recent week, and for the Mets, more the overall start. But you have to remember, and when I say this to you, I'm also saying it to me, right? I need to be reminded of as well. You have to remember that it is a long, long season. And maybe the most important thing to come out of 2024 was a learning lesson, because I would be the first in line to bash everybody after in 2024 at 0-5, I thought the Mets were dead. I was ready to get rid of Mendy before he even got going. I mean, that was obviously his first year. I wanted to break up the core. I've had enough. All of it. Done. The Mets went to the NLCS that year. We could reference the Nationals in 2019, a team led by Soto, obviously, and how they started horribly and still got to the World Series. It's just, unfortunately for us, who live and die with every pitch of every game, you can't get nuts about April. There are situations, for example, in a Yankee game where instead of pinch hitting for Grichuk, Grichuk wouldn't even be, he's not going to be on the team in the postseason. And even if he were in a big spot in the playoffs, Boone is never going to let him hit. However, in April is where you find those things out. Pushing a guy an extra inning, sticking with a guy maybe a little bit longer than you normally would, leaving a guy up there like McMahon today, where normally you'd yank him out of there. I don't care if it's one guy left on the bench or not. You can't let him hit because he's an automatic out and shouldn't be in the big leagues as far as his offense goes. I know what a great glove he is. Great. Every time he comes up to the plate, it's an automatic out. He's one of the worst hitters I've ever seen, Ryan McMahon. So point is, if you're not going to find out in April, then you're never going to find out. You have to just understand that in the way Major League Baseball is today, it's that every game, while it counts, it's still early on to the point where you're evaluating what these teams are doing. But back to the Mets specifically, because I think the Mets have been taking on water here. And it's dangerous for them because unlike the Yankees, who could get off to a lousy start, and their lousy start is far different than a Mets lousy start, we know and trust that the Yankees will come out of it because they do almost every single year. With the Mets, we don't. And that's why I said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think it's imperative that the Mets get themselves off to a good start for many reasons. Not just because everybody wants to see them win, every Met fan wants to see them win, because it was a year where there's a lot of pressure on this team to win after what happened last year. Because of what happened in the offseason with letting everybody go, Alonso and Diaz and trading McNeil and Nimmo. Fans are upset and they don't believe in Stearns. Mendy's on the hot seat. It's imperative. And there's no trust there because the Mets just haven't built up that trust in 40 years. So obviously, the fans are going to start to get antsy. And I was there on Saturday, and I heard the boos loud and clear. I didn't partake in it because I was sitting in the Cadillac Club, and I wasn't rowdy. Otherwise, I would have. I was upset. Don't get me wrong. Lindor's about to hear it, and he's going to hear it in a few minutes here. But overall, you have to. The Mets have to get off to a good start because of the way that the fans have been beaten down for so many years. And once they started to play better, the stretch in San Francisco, I'm thinking, all right, they at least righted the ship here. They should be fine. You come back home, softer schedule and get better. Unfortunately, it went the other way. You heard the boo birds loud and clear. Bichette's struggling. Nobody's hitting. Lindor has been god-awful. And then the pitching, whether it's Peterson. Now, Manaea looked better today, but still, Manaea, the fact that he couldn't crack the rotation, that was a problem. And then you have Clay Holmes having to leave the game early because of the hamstring. Now you're starting to worry about that. And then you got Senga getting lit up like he did a year ago, and that's a problem. And if they can't at least have the stabilizer as far as the rotation goes, then they're screwed because their offense just isn't good enough, especially without Juan Soto. But instead of going nuts and ripping them and saying, fire Mendy, I mean, you got to actually use your noodle and think that if you watch this team, you know that it's not the manager, right? Like, can we all agree? I know you're angry and you want to rip the manager and fire everybody because that's the first thing to go. And he will be eventually. If they keep losing, he will eventually be fired. If the Mets keep losing, it's not me saying that because of any inside. We all know the deal. If the Mets keep losing, the first thing to be changed is going to be the manager. We know that because they might eventually trade some of the players, but the first thing that usually happens with a team that underperforms, especially after an underperforming year a year ago, is going to be a change at the manager. That's not the problem, though. That's not going to solve anything. Mendy isn't the problem. If anything, I think he's an asset to this team. I think it's almost everything else that's a problem. Look at the players. It's the same stuff with the Vientos, Beatty stuff. It's the same stuff with the supposed length in this lineup to start where it's just inconsistent. You can't trust it at all. But even with that, because it's so early, and I still think Simeon's hitting the ball hard, he'll be fine. Alvarez, good to see him performing well toward the bottom of the order. And even though I mentioned Beatty and Vientos, I still think Beatty is a legitimate major leaguer and you can rely on him consistently. I don't know what position he's going to play. We know he's going to be moved all around. I would not like to see him in right field. I'd rather him be at first base or maybe second base or maybe even a little third or DH, but whatever. I think Beatty can be a useful big leaguer, and I have some confidence in him as an offensive player. Where with Vientos, who knows, dude? Who knows? I mean, I didn't like him to begin with. He goes out there and has a monster year in 2024. Then I fall in love with him. He's a disaster in 2025. Then he starts out this year. When he gets his first opportunity, he's great. And now they need him, and he's back to being not much. And he's not good defensively. And he can't run. There are too many issues with this team. Not to mention some of the other stuff. Luis Robert, he's been good offensively, but not a good defensive player. Carson Bench, everybody wanted to get their number 3 tattooed on their arms when he hits the home run on opening day. He's going to replace Pete, homegrown guy. Bench, here we go, retire his number. And now all of a sudden he can't get out of his own way. Made a terrific play on Sunday in center field, robbing a couple of runs from scoring from Oakland there. And maybe his best position is center field, but the Mets have a center fielder, at least for now, in Luis Robert Jr. In the corners, Bench just looked a little shaky. More importantly than that, he looks like he doesn't belong yet offensively. Again, you got to give him some time. So we mentioned all these other things, and we know Soto's out. You have to acknowledge that. The Lindor thing is the biggest problem to me because there's no excuse for it. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it with Francisco Lindor. It's every year. It's the same thing every year. And this year is actually worse. Now, a part of me wants to say, give him a break. We know that we just have to accept it. The guy was the MVP, in my opinion, in 2024. Hit some of the more clutch home runs in the history of the Mets franchise. Got it. We know he could be a great player. I loved him defensively. This year has been inexplicably bad. And it's not just the offense, which is infuriating to watch. I mean, the guy doesn't have an RBI. And he came up in a spot on Sunday with a chance to change the game with one swing of the bat. And that's what this team needs right now. That's what they need. And he didn't provide it. Again, another weak ground out or whatever it was with Lindor. I'm fed up. Like, it actually, I can't watch it. Like, that's how bad it is with him. It's so bad that it doesn't give, like, why are we watching it? Life gives you enough anger. Don't you want some joy out of these things? I can't watch him play. Not to mention what happened on Saturday. Not to mention getting picked off, forgetting how many outs there are. Like Lindor has played this season so far, 16 games, whatever it's been, with his head up his ass. And that can't happen. Not for a guy who's supposed to be the best player on your team or the second best player, however you want to rank them. He has been the best player. He talked about being the leader and wanted to be the captain. I don't know if his feelings got hurt from what Cohen's. I have no idea what's going on with Francisco Lindor. He says, quote, I feel locked in. Well, then if you're locked in, you need to do something different because whatever it is that you think you're locked in or you're doing it wrong. It's not working. Something's got to change. Maybe Mendy needs to sit him for a couple of games. I don't care if they keep losing. Sit him. He's not helping. He's not helping them. I don't care who the shortstop is. Call up the kid who they sent down at the beginning. I don't even remember his name. I was like, who's this guy? He's not going to make the team. But you can't put Bichette at short for any length. Lindor, you can't keep running them out there. You can't do it. It'd be one thing if it were just the offensive struggles. It's not. It's more than that. And those things add up. The guys at first base not being able to catch a ball. The guys in the outfield not being able to catch a ball. Lindor not knowing how many outs there are. Not trying to field the ball that was closer to first base than it was to third base. Like, what? What are we doing here? What do you go to second base? It's pretty simple. You got Simeon over there. You're going to be fine. Lindor just doesn't know what he's doing. So I don't. And I respect him because he's a gamer. Whether he's got stuff going on or not, I have no idea. It's going to lead to speculation because we've never seen this before from him. The struggles offensively, everybody's seen that before, especially in March and April, and maybe even into May. It's the other stuff that just doesn't add up, and that's the stuff it's unacceptable to me. So while I'm not going to come on and say the Mets are dead, the Mets are done, go nuts against this guy, that guy, the manager, whatever, one thing that I can't stand, it drives me nuts, is when teams beat themselves, when teams play sloppy, in this case, baseball. I can't stand it. And the Mets have played crappy baseball all year long. Even when they were winning these games, I came on and said they haven't even played good baseball yet. Because I watch the games and I know what good baseball is. The defensive metrics or run save, they could say one thing. I'm telling you a different thing. If you watch the games, we know the truth. So you can look at the numbers all you want. When you're watching the game, you know that they're not playing clean, crisp baseball and they're beating themselves more often than not. And that is something that David Stearns was supposed to change. When he said he wanted to upgrade the defense, when he built this team, I thought they were supposed to be better at playing baseball. So far through 16 games, they haven't been. The good news, if not great news, is that it's 16 games. And over the course of 162, it's like nothing. So it takes discipline. I'm talking to me here. I know people are watching or listening, but I'm talking to me here. It takes discipline not to go nuts and overreact, but the reality is they're still fine. Now, the counter is, and I could hear people yelling, like, yeah, but we said the same thing last year, Sal. You're right. I know myself, I did say the same thing last year, even down the stretch when there wasn't a whole season to go, when it wasn't just 16 games, even when there were just 16 games left, the exact opposite. They played the majority of the season. I was still saying, they're still right there. And they were right there. And unfortunately, they fell short. So what could change this year? Maybe nothing. Maybe it's even going to be worse than next year. I don't know. But at this point, I don't think firing the manager does any good, nor do I think that that's warranted. You also have to understand that they don't have their best player in Juan Soto. And Bichette is going to take some time, unfortunately. I think he's looked terrible. I mean, I know he hit the home run the other day. We saw that, was at the game right there. They had the home runs were hit right over my head in right field. I was in the Cadillac Club with Bichette and Polanco. Good to see those guys getting on the board for the first time as Mets with their first Mets home run. Maybe they'll get going at some point. I would expect that they will. But right now, they're not. And that's part of the problem. The lineup could look far different with Soto coming back and maybe some of these other guys getting a little more comfortable in their first year in New York. They're under a lot of pressure because the offense hasn't been performing. No Soto, maybe everybody trying to do a little bit too much. Maybe the expectations coming into the year. It's a culmination or a combination, whatever. Either I think works here, of a lot of different things. Bottom line is, it's not good enough by any stretch. It's got to get better, but it's still too early. And my main concern remains Francisco Lindor. I'd be concerned about the pitching if Holmes were not to make his next start, but it sounds like that was going to be the case. He's going to be okay for his next start. Senga I don't trust. Manaea looking good may help because if Peterson has another bad start, then maybe you could bring Manaea into the rotation and move Peterson to the bullpen. They still have some depth in the minors. We talked about that. Not that you want to go to that in mid-April. So I'm concerned with Lindor, number one, because of the mental aspect, not even the offense. And number two, the starting pitching depth. Once the starting pitching depth takes a hit, whether it is poor performance or injuries, then they're in big, big trouble. Trouble that I don't know if they could get out of. I don't think that they're good enough. They're not good enough to get out of that. Not offensively. Or defensively, for that matter. So if you want to be optimistic, the optimistic point of view from the Mets is that it's very, very early, and they still do have a lot of talent on this team. How much talent? Who knows? Is it going to gel? Is it going to work? Who knows? But it's not like this team doesn't have the pieces that could get it turned around. If Bo Bichette's going to have a bad year, the Mets are toast. If Francisco Lindor is going to hit, the Mets are toast. If he's not going to defend, the Mets are toast. If Polanco isn't going to hit, toast. Like, if Bench isn't going to do anything, they're going to have to get another outfielder. Tommy Pham's not going to be the answer. He may be for a little while, but you can't have all those things go wrong and expect to have a good season. Same thing with the pitching. If Holmes is hurt and Peterson can't get anybody out and Manaea can't throw, 90 plus and get people out, and Senga is going to be what he was the second half of last year, you're not going to win. But it's way early, and I still do have faith. And while it is easy to sit here and criticize, I think Lindor is the biggest culprit so far. I do not think that Carlos Mendoza has anything to do with this. I'm not sure what you want him to do. I mean, unless you think he could do a better job himself hitting. Should he just grab the bat and get out there and try to go perform? I mean, I look at the lineup. Those guys, they're professional big leaguers. They're making a lot of money. They're not hitting. It's Carlos Mendoza's fault that Bichette's striking out every time up. It's Mendoza's fault that Lindor's playing with his head up his rear end the whole year. I don't think so. I mean, maybe he could flip some tables and change his messaging to the team. Maybe he will at some point. I think he's doing the right thing by right now staying even keeled and not going the other way, because I think once he starts to show that he's changing a little bit, then he's going to be in trouble. Now, with all that being said, this is a huge, huge week for the Mets because of what I mentioned earlier, where you talk about getting off to a good start and it's imperative. They got the Dodgers, they got the Cubs. This is not going to be an easy road trip. If they get buried on this trip, the noise is only going to get louder. And it was pretty hard to get louder than all those boos. The noise is only going to get louder and louder. And at some point, maybe people start to lose their patience and think that a change is needed. And then maybe that happens. Again, I'm not calling for that. I would expect that that's not going to happen anytime soon. But it could start to get away from them quickly. They're taking on some water and they're playing with fire right now. Can you take on water and play with fire? Badabooms, does that make any sense? I mean,
I was going to ask you, I've now heard this 4 times from you. What does that mean, take on water?
If you're a boat that's taking on water, you're about to sink.
Oh, I thought it was like taking the piss. No, not a piss, but you know how people say taking the piss?
No, I don't. I've never heard that before.
Now you're going to be drinking the piss. Look.
I know. Usually when we tape, at least
I was trying to get you to do a spit take.
We could, now that we're live here, like I can't really take bathroom breaks. Normally if we record this, we can. That's part of the problem with going live with the podcast format. Even during radio, we used to have some breaks. Not many at times on the overnight, but either way. So before we get to the Yankees side of things, and I think it's less pressing than with the Mets stuff. I feel like I got most of it off my chest with the Mets. The Jeff McNeil, first of all, McNeil killed both the Mets and Yankees this week. Yeah, the guy's putting that torpedo bat on the ball. All of a sudden, he's a batting champion again, Jeff McNeil. Who knew? But I was actually surprised with the amount of people that applauded Jeff McNeil. Like, were we watching the same guy? It's one of I guess it's the thing again with the homegrown stuff, like homegrown. But fans love the homegrown player. Jeff McNeil he wasn't good. He wasn't. How much more do we got to say? Like, he was a batting champion, Sal. Yeah, once. Like, I'm sorry, I grew up in an era where guys who were batting champions hit 320 every year. They won because they had a year that went above their normal average. Let's say instead of hitting 320 for a career, you hit 360 and won the batting title. McNeil never sniffed 300 again after he won the batting title. So, he was a little bit of a gamer, but there were also issues. He was a selfish player, throwing the helmet, me. Obviously had no power, didn't have great speed. He was versatile, and I give him credit for that. Defensively, moving around and making some plays wherever he could get to, but not like he had great range, never had great athleticism. He was kind of a one-trick pony. So if he went in 300, I liked him. Sure. I like that. But when you start hitting 280, 240, 250. Like, I just don't get it. And I don't mind giving him a round of applause. The love for Jeff McNeil. I actually had my mother's cousin, because I went to the game with my mom on Sunday, and her cousins happened to be in the building. And they were FaceTiming with my mom. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, I'm trying to watch the game. My mom's like, oh, look, it's cousin Linda. I'm like, hey, that's great. Like, I'm not FaceTiming, Mom. Leave me alone. You're lucky I'm even here with you. I want to watch the game. And her cousin Linda, who's a diehard Met fan, had a McNeil shirt on, an A's McNeil shirt on. And I'm like, what is that about? She's like, don't worry, I'm rooting for the Mets, but I just wanted to respect my favorite. I love McNeil. I don't get it. I don't understand it. On that subject matter, Badabooms. So listen to how dumb Badabooms is. I invited him to the Cadillac Club and he turned it down. How could you turn that down, bro? You turned down the info.
Lies.
No.
Lies and deception.
No, it's not lies. I invited you to the Cadillac Club. You were the first one I invited.
Lies, deception. You invited me to the game. I didn't know you were sitting left field behind the screen.
It's not left field. It's right field. And the reason why
right field.
The reason why I'm sensitive.
I told you I can't read.
The reason you're dyslexic, is that what you said? The reason why I'm sensitive to that is the guy behind me yesterday was yelling something. I forget even what, but yeah, we're in left field. Hit it. And I'm like, bro, this is right field. Like what? I've been to games where guys yell a lot of dumb stuff. I don't think I've ever not known where we were on the diamond, where we were
when
sitting.
I was next to you, I was yelling dumb stuff.
I know, but you knew where we were on the field. Anyway, dude, how could you turn down Cadillac Club? And thank you to Cadillac. They took good care of us. I love sitting in those seats. It's an experience. You know why? Because it's foolproof. Because even if the Mets lose like they did yesterday, and even if they're getting crushed like they did yesterday, 7-1 in the third inning, I'm like, Jesus. But the food's free. The drinks are free. You're hanging out in a nice comfy seat. I love it. So it was great. The Mets ended up coming back a little bit, made it exciting. But dude, you turned it down. You missed out. What are we doing here?
Like Usher, I have a little bit of a confession.
What?
You get that?
Yes, I get that. Usher sings a song, Confession, yeah.
And he sings Confessions Part 2.
You see Bieber, by the way, at Coachella?
He was ripping D's nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, go ahead, continue.
No, he was. He was playing D's nuts on the video.
What's your confession?
I was kind of rooting against the Mets because I was like, oh, I'm not there. I kind of hope he doesn't see a win.
But for whether they win or lose, you turn I know.
I told you I had plans. I had a plan. You're in my schedule, brother, not the other way around.
You could play in any time. What are you talking about? A video game?
No,
you may not get another invite to the Cadillac Club.
The show was a big thing. I promised my lady a nice little weekend, so I got to keep to my word here.
I know, but also it's kind of work. We could have maybe done some content there.
No, you would have forgot the microphones again, just like the first time.
Also, before I forget, it was Juan Soto 40-30 bobblehead. I want to give this away. I have an extra one. You see, where's the? You see the one behind me? Is that it?
So funny you mentioned the bobbleheads. I read a comment here.
Yeah.
There's a missing bobblehead.
I replaced the Seinfeld one.
Interesting.
For now. Well, I mean, I wanted to get the Soto one up because I knew I was
called out on being Mr. Johnson himself.
No, it's not called out. What do you think? I care what you think.
I called you out on being
Look at you.
On Johnson. Huh?
Look at
you.
You think
I went bold at 23. What are you talking about? Look at me.
Look at your background. You can't even see. It's dark in there, bro. Get a light.
Figured out.
Didn't I send you money to get a green screen or something? And what about the sleeves again with the no sleeves with you?
You didn't say anything about the sleeves. I just figured I could do no
sleeves. The reason why I just moved my Seinfeld bobblehead for the day.
Where'd you move it?
Over there. I have cases in front of me.
Okay.
They used to be behind me. If you were a ball knower, you would know that.
I did know that.
Can we give this away right now?
You want to do it
during this live stream or no?
Wonder if
I didn't open it. Now. Brand new in the box. Soto 40-30 bobblehead from yesterday. You can thank my mom for that.
I could kind of come up with a way to do it right now. I don't know how would we do it right now.
Okay, well you figure that out and then get out so I could talk some Yankees now.
I mean, I guess we'd like a pick a number kind of thing. Like, hey, Sal, pick a number, and then whoever picks the number first.
No, don't you have like a randomizer or maybe throw up some trivia question or something like that? Actually, I was going to do what was the bobblehead that this replaced and see if somebody knew that, but you already said that somebody.
Yeah, it was very obvious, bro. Because I feel like I didn't. Another oh yeah, Sal, isn't there something coming up soon between the two New York baseball teams?
Yeah, speaking of giveaways, so we'll be giving away this. If we can't figure out a way to do this during the live stream, we'll give this away in the next podcast. I promise you, to anybody that's subscribing.
I guess we could do a trivia question to stop you right there. You shoot it out, and then whoever mentions it first in the comments, we could do that.
We'll save it for the end. Come up with a trivia question off the top of my head?
I could come up with one.
No, I don't want you coming up with the trivia question, please. Can you just do
Which New York broadcaster proclaimed that the NL East was over?
It's a good test. All right, we'll figure something out. But anyway, we'll be giving that away, as well as a pair of Subway Series tickets to the Mets-Yankees game Friday, May 15th, field level tickets, courtesy of, let me get this right. I have it in my notes here somewhere. Sachdev Family Orthodontics in. There it is. Sachdev
Rockland
Family
County.
Orthodontics. Rockland County. Good job, Badabooms.
How do you not remember that? I hear it every single day.
I know. Well, I just don't trust myself sometimes. You know, I told you to like print something up so I could print it out and have a read in front of me to make it easier. But no, why would you do that? Anyway, we'll be giving away a pair of tickets, Subway Series tickets, to a subscriber. All you have to do is subscribe. And while you subscribe, why don't you smash that like button, comment, do those notifications, right? Is that anything else I got to promote there?
Well, you got to turn the bell on for the notification.
Turn the bell on.
Little bell icon right there.
Smash that thumbs. Is it the thumbs button? Smash that button.
Yeah.
So for the Yankees, the reason why I wouldn't go nuts about the Yankees is I watch them and I know it's frustrating because it's similar issues with last year or years past with the offense, the bottom of the order. Okay, not doing enough. For whatever reason, Cam Schlittler didn't have his best stuff today. I thought for sure the Yankees were going to win today. I thought that they would be a layup win. And even that wouldn't have been good enough, right? Losing 2 out of 3 to the A's, losing 2 out of 3 to the Rays. Side note, both those teams better than I thought. And also, it's almost like they have an advantage. I know it sounds weird to say this because it's not really an advantage, but because they can't go out and spend big money on big star players or acquire players that are making big money, they build teams that put the bat on the ball and guys that run around the bases and guys that catch the ball. I mean, the A's outfield didn't let anything drop. You had to hit it over the wall, and even those weren't safe from the A's outfield. And then the Rays, those guys, that speedy center fielder, I forget his name. Mullins was in center
Chandler
field.
Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson. Oh, my God, what a player. Puts the bat on the ball, and the guy's running around the bases like a rabbit. He's all over. It's unbelievable
Fastest
how fast
man
he
in
is.
baseball.
Is that true? Like
No, statistically, yes. Statistically.
But it's a game changer. He gets on, he's getting to second. Guess what? A base hit scores him from second. He gets to third, he's scoring automatically on a sac fly. Those guys, that helps you win games. I'd love to see the Mets or Yankees add more of that. Well, the Yankees did technically do that with Jazz. This is a transition. Speaking of Jazz, initially when I saw his comments, I thought the easy thing to do would have been to rip Jazz and pile on. Now, I want to be clear where I stand on Jazz. I think Jazz Chisum is a losing baseball player, and I think the Yankees would be better off without him. However, I don't think that play or the explanation of that play was anywhere near the worst thing that Jazz has done. He clearly knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to tag the runner at second, runner going to second, and throw to first and get the double play, and that would have been it, which would have ended the inning, right, Badabooms? That would have ended the inning. Were you watching that game?
You're referring to the game-ending play.
Yeah, the 2 nights ago, not on Sunday, on Saturday night. I'm saying there was one out, right, in that spot?
Yes, but if the runner scores before they make the out, the game's over.
If there was one out, and I believe that there was, I just wanted to confirm that because, again, I don't trust myself.
Correct, there was one out.
Right. If he tags the guy going to second and throws to first and gets the double play, the run does not score on that.
It's the game-ending run, though.
Do you not know the rules? I mean, Jazz said he didn't know the rules. I don't think you know the rules. What do you mean the game-ending run? If it's a double play, the run does not score. End of story.
No. I think we're both confused. He's saying if he goes to first and then tags him.
That's the problem. If he threw to first and then got the runner run down, that he does score. But what he initially tried to do was tag him before he had the ball. Like he was trying to grab the ball, tag him, and then throw to first. Once he screwed that up, the game was over. And it was the right. I think he knew what he was saying. And I know Boone tried to absolve him in the post game, saying like he knew the rule. You know the rules. Come on, you're playing baseball your whole life. So I think there were other things that Jazz does that to me are unappealing. I don't think he gives quality at bats in a good spot. I mean, he's got pop, he's got speed, he's an electrifying player. He can play elite defense when he's on. But I think there's too much of there's too much of I don't know there like airheadedness with Jazz a little bit that would a little bit like Gleyber Torres, similar thing. Although I think Jazz is a better athlete than Gleyber, and I think Gleyber probably just a better overall offensive player.
Very rare stoppage that I have to do.
Yeah,
have you ever seen? And I apologize, but have you ever seen the video? It came out about a week or two ago. They're saying, "Hey Jazz, speak when you see a player named better than Jazz Chisum." And they say Ohtani, they say Judge, they say all these people, and he doesn't speak in the video. I mean, that was a tough watch. Basically saying without saying that he's better than Judge and Ohtani.
Yeah, but why would you even bring any credence or attention to that? You're going to stop me for that? Why? Like if you were to say that
piling on to what you're saying.
But why would you think that he's better than Ohtani or Judge? We know that he's not. Like,
he thinks that.
Who's he?
Jazz Chisum.
Oh, Jazz himself said that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I have no problem with him saying that. Like, if you were to do that with me, hypothetically, and say, Sal, speak when I name a talk show host that's better than you are. Hypothetically.
You're not. Well, I know what name you're not going to say you're better than because that's your guy. That's your mentor.
Well, right, but there's probably only one. No, maybe two.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
Right? So there's for Judge,
else,
you're going to say you're better than Judge?
Yeah, but the point, maybe not Judge. I see what you're saying. Like, at least there's one. But you got to believe in yourself. That's the point. It's not like we all know he's not.
You just think there's a little bit more self-awareness there, especially with the expectations going into the season.
But you're an athlete. You got to be confident. I know he did the 50-50 thing too. He drives me nuts.
He's working himself into a shoe.
I know I'm not alone. He drives me nuts with that. I just don't think he's a winning player. And if I were the Yankees, I'd look to move on from him. Maybe they would. Okay, so that was an issue over the weekend. Everybody made a big deal about that. I think the things you have to be concerned about from the Yankee perspective, I know the bottom of the order. I think that will get better. I think McMahon, they're going to have to figure something out. I don't think he's going to be a long-time third baseman here. He's an automatic out. But the bottom of the order can be fixed. I mean, it'd be nice if Austin Wells started to hit. How many disappointments are going to... Volpe, Wells, Dominguez, what happened to those three guys? The young Yankees, the new baby bombers, they were going to take over. Those guys didn't get the job done. What I'd like to see is, or my biggest concern is Heel and the bullpen. And Luis Heel is an issue only for now. That will get better when obviously the Yankees get healthier in that rotation with Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon coming back. But Heel's an issue right now. I mean, unless you think you're going to get 8 innings from Weathers every night, which was a great performance from him, I don't know if you're going to get that. I'd be a little bit worried about the starting pitching beyond Max Fried right now. Even Schlittler, last 2 times out, not looking as dominant as we thought he might be. I mean, I thought Cam Schlittler was just going to take the world by storm after his first couple of starts. Last 2 starts, not so much. He's not a problem by any stretch, but all of a sudden, if he's not pitching at an elite level, and now you have a rotation outside of Fried, and you lose the game that Fried pitches, just because you can't win every one. You have Schlittler not being on his game. You have Will Warren, who's not giving you any length. Weathers, who wasn't giving you length until his last start. What is he? We don't know. And then you have Luis Heel, who's been a disaster dating back to last year and so far this year in the minors. Spring training, then the minors, and now his first start here. That could be an issue. They got to get Cole and Rodon back sooner than later. Also, the bullpen, it's fine. And I think it'll get better. I could trust Cashman to build a better bullpen. I don't think Bednar is going to be the closer on a team that wins the World Series. I like him. I think he's good. I just don't think that I don't think he's that guy. But again, these are all issues that when you talk about it after 15, 16 games, these can all be addressed, and I think that they will be. So is it a great weekend? Did anybody have fun watching the Mets or Yankees this weekend? No, not at all. I mean, unless you bet against them, I don't know what Met or Yankee fan would do that, but it was not fun watching either of these two teams play. I mean, it was nice to see the Yankees come back with Judge hitting that home run, thinking maybe they have a chance. I thought they were going to win that game until the final out, and then that was it. I thought they were going to win that game until I saw Ryan McMahon step into the batter's box. Honestly, with 2 outs, guy on, I thought they were going to win that game until I saw Ryan McMahon step into the batter's box. He's just an automatic out. What are you looking at me? What
about how they cut to Goldie? And he's like he's already dressed up to leave the stadium. Like there was not even a thought that Goldie was going to pinch hit there.
I did not see that. I know he was the last one left that they could go for. But again, dude, like if you're Boone and you're trying to get your players through a season, they're not looking at it like McMahon's going to get cut tomorrow. This is a long season. It's game 16. If you take McMahon out of that game in that spot, in that particular spot, you run the risk of losing him forever. Now, I don't think he's particularly good. I mean, he's been bad for a while. Even with Colorado, he was a high strikeout guy. Now, he's never been this bad offensively, but he wasn't good last year with the Yankees. There are reasons to believe it may be over for McMahon offensively. There are reasons to just believe you don't have any hope in him. They're hoping to maybe get a little bit more of that pop. They're hoping this can't be as bad as he's going to be. He's going to level out a little bit. And if you're going to hope it all and try to salvage a guy who, by the way, that you or I could bury after 16 games or 15 games in the Yankees case, but you can't bury guys. Like, come on, you got to be realistic. You can't just throw a guy away after 15 games. It's such a small sample size. So Boone's trying to do whatever he can to salvage whatever's in there from McMahon. And I can't blame him for that. It's not about, if you have to get to the point where you're talking about a pinch hitter The game already at that point is not where you should be. How about the guys before that? Go ahead.
But this is the second time, though, that the game has ended on McMahon's bat in a matter of five days.
I understand that. Well, teams are pitching around him to get to him. Can you hop in there? Because I keep seeing you go, yeah.
And I didn't know if you wanted that or not.
Would you change a wardrobe? What are you, Taylor Swift?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Now you put a hoodie on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Was somebody in the comments making funny or something like that?
No. I've been wearing the hoodie the whole time.
What's wrong with you? You know, when I'm taping here, it's not going to work for me, brother. I'm learning. There is a lot wrong with you. Where are you at with the Yankees? Are you angry? Are you okay because it's early? Where are you at?
This is classic Bombers. Like, I've experienced this almost my entire life as a Yankee fan. Now, the McMahon thing, you've known me personally throughout the course of the season. Dating back to when we started the show, I wanted Murakami. So I'm going to continue to be mad about it. But the Prince who's promised down on the farm, Sal, maybe we'll get to that later in the week.
Do you have regrets about not going to the Cadillac Club yesterday with me?
No regrets in life. Just keep pushing forward.
Bro, they come to your seat, and it's like a bigger seat than a regular seat. And
why do you say that? Why is that the first thing you say when talking about if I regret going to the Cadillac Club? Because the seat's larger? I have a hard time sitting in a normal seat at a baseball game? Are you serious?
I'm just saying because it's more comfortable. You know what I mean? It's like a bigger, comfy seat. It was even more comfy for me and my mom. And I'm thinking about like you know, be more comfy is what I'm saying. You have to remember, like the first time we really hung out, you were squeezed in the middle aisle of the and I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. I love you, but I got to pull rank. I'm sitting in the aisle or the window here, and
pull rank. Yeah, pull rank.
Well, I mean, I did pay for the seats. I mean, am I allowed to do that? Come on.
Yeah, and I drove 8 hours with no complaints for you, brother.
Understood. No, it was a fun trip, but I'm just saying,
I know my role.
You
often act like I don't know my role.
There's no role. We're just having fun doing a show.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
I'm just saying that, like, they come to the seat, the comfy seat, and they bring, like, in the third inning, it was like, here are some steak fries. I'm like, oh, don't mind if I do.
Are they low bells?
Then they come in like the sixth inning with ice cream, little ice cream, chocolate, vanilla, both. I'm like, don't mind if I do. And that's on top of the other food that they have sitting there, like Cracker Jacks, popcorn, tendies, fries, hot dogs, whatever else, like fancy stuff. I'm a chicken fingers and fries guy. I had 2 hot dogs yesterday too. But whatever else they have, it's a great experience. And you missed out on that to watch like AEW or something. What were you doing yesterday?
Well, that's on tonight. You bum.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Sorry. I'm not going to say what I really want to say there. I'm going to hold it back because we are live. It can't get edited out. So I'm just going to plow forward, pretend that.
All right.
I'm saying it in my head and I'll say it when the stream's over. But I'm happy you had a good time. You got to go with your mom. Like, isn't that not great for you? You get to
No, my mom loved it. We had a great time.
Yeah.
But you could have come as well. I had 4 tickets. So, you know, you would have been
get
there.
other opportunities. If I treat that as the only opportunity I'll ever get, then I'll fail. I would have already failed in life.
You only get one shot.
Tonight.
The Masters. Did you watch any of the Masters?
What's that?
It was actually good. Okay, you could go out for that. Oh, you're wearing your green jacket today, I see, for the Masters. Good job. Oh, God. I'll bring you back in a little bit before we say goodbye. I'm not a huge golf fan, although I used to be more into it. And then, like, I got married. And unfortunately, when you get married, there's not enough time to go around. When I was single, it was me time. I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And it was great. Outside of work, I had work, and then I come home, do what you got to do. Even if you have a girlfriend, it's like, all right, well, I'm not locked into this. You usually want to see your girlfriend. There's a difference between being married and dating. Dating, there's the want to. Married, there's the have to.
There's your answer.
With the girlfriend, you want to. With the wife, you have to. So if I were younger and I'm like, I get the Masters on, I'll see you next weekend, or why don't you come over Tuesday night or something like that, whatever it may be. But then as you get older, you get married, and now you're spending time with the wife, and it starts out like you want to spend time. And then, as the years go on, it's, Anyway, we don't need to get into all that. But I did make it a point to watch a little bit of the Masters on Saturday, and then a lot of it on Sunday, and I enjoyed it because it's good competition. Although in this particular case, once Scheffler missed the birdie putt on, I think it was 16, then the drama kind of went away. So you figured Rory was going to win that, which he eventually did. But my main takeaway, aside from seeing Rory win back-to-back Masters, okay, great. Now maybe I'll continue following golf again, get back into it and play a little bit more. The main takeaway that I have, it gives me anxiety. Watching golf, like I shouldn't have anxiety, and it does. Thinking about how mental the game is, and then even me in a meaningless nothing playing with my buddies, like even just the approach to the ball, I'm not mentally, I don't know what it is with it. I just don't have it with golf. I got to get to a point where I enjoy it and get over the mental aspect. But I was just thinking about it from a professional standpoint. What golfers do, it may not be as physically impressive as being a football player or baseball player or hockey or basketball, whatever, as far as those type athletes. But the mental toughness that those guys have, even with Rory trying to choke it away best he could toward the end, or having choked away, in the past, and we've seen, Greg Norman was one of my favorite golfers growing up, choking away tournaments, but just the mental toughness and skill to be able to more often than not consistently hit the ball perfectly. Good God, it's impressive. So it was a fun Masters Sunday. Did you see Badabooms, the Islanders? I guess they're totally out of the playoffs now. They lost again today. And basically, since we got invited to the game and went out there, they have gone in the tank. 1-6, and I think they're out.
They're eliminated officially?
I believe they cannot make it. You could just confirm that. I think they had to win both and get help.
Yes, they've been eliminated.
I told you, Ledecky didn't text me back. It was disappointing, but I hope
that's even a lousy letter or a call.
Now, I used to have all your pictures and your posters on my wall.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring that up is Raj, the guy who donates all the tickets and gives us tickets. He said that Sal, Islanders 1-6 since Badabooms went to the game. I think he might be bad luck.
No way he said that.
He did. It's text word for word.
Booms is the hex.
Raj tried to blame you. I said no. I go, we got them 2 points, and then I explained that we didn't get a text back from Ledecky. I think maybe that was the issue, not you or I.
What team did I grow up rooting for, Sal?
The Islanders. You went to the Bridgeport or Sound Tigers. What were they called?
What hockey team did I grow up and currently root for, Sal?
Oh, you're a Ranger fan, but didn't you love the Soundport? What is it called? The SoundCloud?
The SoundCloud? What
is it? The Tigers? What's it called?
Bridgeport Sound Tigers.
Sound Tigers.
They just had their last game, by the way. Very sad. Very emotional.
Okay. And so did the Islanders, apparently. The last one that mattered today.
But let's just say maybe if it was Booms.
Okay.
GVR chirping me.
Let's close
GVR.
with this.
Booms. Where's the Rangers? GVR.
Badabooms.
Where the Islanders?
Here's one of your duties. Not right now. Like, I'm going to talk about the Knicks for a second.
Yeah.
But if you see that it's official, a schedule while I'm doing this.
Yes, they're playing the Hawks.
No. Thank you. I appreciate that. I knew that. I appreciate your eagerness to let me know who they were playing, even though I knew that. I said schedule, like when the games are. If you get that, hit me with that.
Yeah, they're playing Donald Johnson on Don Johnson Day.
This kid, so as you just heard the breaking news from Badabooms right there, the Knicks are playing the Hawks. Shock to me. The Knicks are playing the Hawks. So thankfully, mercifully, the regular season in the NBA has come to an end. The NBA season, we talk about the baseball season being a little bit too long. They gotta cut the NBA season shorter because I know they're trying. God bless them. Silver has tried to make the games more. They're non-competitive. They mean nothing. Even a diehard Knicks fan like myself, I just can't get into the games that mean nothing. I think it's a good thing, though, from a Knicks fan perspective, that they've turned the regular season, or at least the majority of the regular season, into meaningless because they're so good now, it's all about the playoffs. And even though I think the Knicks underachieved and disappointed to a certain extent in the regular season, they were talked about being the 1 seed. It's funny how Knicks fans move the goalposts. Like before the season started, no, Celtics are toast with Tatum. This is our conference, 1 seed, best team in the conference. Then, even without Tatum, the Celtics have a better record. The Pistons surpass them, even with Cunningham getting hurt. They're still a better team. And the Knicks can't beat a good team to save their life in the regular season. And Knicks fans are like, Mike Brown, baby, we did it. We back up. He's better than Tibbs. So, whatever. To me, it was a disappointing regular season. Successful, but still disappointing. And as long as they get in the postseason, that's all that matters. They will match up with the Hawks in a first round that they cannot lose. There was talk about it last year if they were to lose Tibbs would have been on the chopping block, and I think rightfully so, even though I'm a Tibbs supporter. Had they lost in the first round, can't have that. Even more so this year. Can't have it. I don't think that they will. I think this is a favorable matchup for them. If you're going to be worried about the Hawks, come on, what are we doing here? And, of course, it will be payback. I know Trae Young is no longer there, but the Knicks, all the Hawks are beating. Looking forward to it. I guess game one is going to be either Saturday or Sunday, right, Badabooms?
Yes, we will start because I just saw the play-in's final game is Friday.
Who is it? Is everything set in the NBA or no? I know there was still a game going on. Spurs and was it Nuggets playing?
Correct. I think everything was set earlier today, if not. So hold on, I just had it right in front of me. I'm going to find it for you again. Tuesday is Heat versus Hornets.
Okay.
And then I guess they're still on the West, either the Clippers or Portland versus the Suns.
Yeah, okay. I don't really care about the West as much, especially not right now.
Orlando versus the Sixers on Wednesday.
That's a play-in?
Play-in.
Okay. Yeah, so, right. Okay, so the Hawks are the last team in.
How do you feel about the play-in, just to catch your eye? I've never heard your thoughts on it.
Just give me 1 through 8 and let's go. It was supposed to make the regular season more meaningful, and it didn't.
Even the tournament didn't. The in-season
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's that sport is broken. Really need help. Anyway, I would be stunned if the Knicks did not beat the Hawks in the first round. And then, I would be stunned and I would be angry. And I would also be saying, I told you so about Mike Clown. But we'll see what happens with the Knicks first round. Hopefully game one, we get that schedule. I love when we get these schedules because there's nothing better as a fan. And we'll do more on this as the course of the week goes on. Nothing better as a fan than having your team slotted in to play a playoff series, playoff game or playoff series. Obviously in the NBA, it's the playoff series. You get game 1, game 2. Here we go. You know, you're going to be locked into every possession of every game. Cannot wait for it. The Knicks try to get over the hump from where they were a year ago, falling short in the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll get things started this weekend, which should be a busy weekend against the Hawks. And then that would mean that they would match up in the next round where they would play. It does not reseed. I always forget what this, right?
I don't know how it works here.
I don't think it reseeds. So the Knicks would play the Celtics in the second round. 2 plays 3, 1 plays 4. So like, let's say even if the Raptors, well, obviously if the Raptors won, they would be the lower seed. But I think no matter what, the seeding, it's a bracket. So you would have.
They are not reseeded.
Right. So it would go Pistons versus the lower seed. Winner of that plays the Celtics. Winner versus the plays the Cavs winner versus the Raptors, the 4-5. So the Knicks would get the Celtics, assuming the Celtics win. Celtics would be matched up with, we don't know yet officially, but one of the whoever finishes in the 7th spot out of the plans. So you figure the Pistons and Celtics are both going to move on. Knicks would then, if they get past the Hawks, would be staring at a rematch with Celtics again, and that won't be easy. But you get past them, maybe this is the year where the Knicks get themselves back into the NBA Finals for the first time in quite some time. All right, dude. Anything else here? You have any comments real quick that you want to get to, or people that you want to mention or something? I'm trying not to look at that. I was just trying to do the show here, but I think we're going to wrap it up now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I always ask. I rarely rip the audience. I actually love the audience. Feel free to comment, guys. If you want to comment anything, maybe questions. Never a lot of commenting going on. You can even just say Sal's bald. I'll like it.
I'm seeing things. Do you see it pop up here? But I'm not going to read it. I do see comments here. Sal, how do you feel about the Knicks playing the Hawks in the first round of playoffs? Okay, I think I just explained that. Jazz, the kind of person that like to not know stuff. Okay, I don't know what that means from D-Rod. Anyway, so I see comments. Are you not seeing them?
I'm seeing them now. On the platform we use, it doesn't refresh.
Oh, so you didn't see anything. Yeah, I am seeing it. And what's going on with you? You're saying no comments. I'm seeing them come in, and it's distracting.
They're just popping on now. They refresh them. Well, feel free to comment right now if you're here.
Yeah, well, no, I got to go now. I got work to do. You know, I do have a job.
Do you?
Another job, yes.
Mm-hmm. Besides bitch me out.
All right.
I do want to update you on my MLB The Show Weekend Classic.
How'd you do?
So I was undefeated, all right? And then I wanted to support you. I wanted to support my close and personal friend, Sal Licata.
And
so I put on a video of you on the filling in for Stugotz the other day, Mr. Wiener.
That was on video?
There was a clip from it that I started watching. So I'm getting to play my 3rd or 4th game out of 6. And you start ripping my football team. And the lead that I had just dwindled. And I lost that game. Man. That was my first loss. No. I'm talking about it because it impacted my weekend.
Oh, how do we
give
this away? Can we give this away real quick or no?
I guess shoot out a question or a trivia question. The first one to respond can get it. And get
maybe we do it tomorrow. Can we do it on tomorrow's pod? But like, give kind of like a restriction, like a rules thing. No. Come on, man! You're supposed to help me with this. I don't.
Dude, we decided to go live at 4:00 today. You had 5 hours to think about this.
I forgot about it until I just saw it sitting on the desk right here.
Communicate skills. They gotta get. Come on, like, what are you doing? Shoot out a question.
All right. Well, how about this? We'll think about it. We'll wrap up now, and then on Tuesday's podcast, we'll reveal how people can subscribe to or enter to win this thing. Right?
Yeah, it'll be like a little test run for our big giveaway.
That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, maybe
totally no-sold my weekend classic thing. Totally threw it out the window.
I'm sorry. Well, I don't care about your game. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with you. You said I distracted you. You were undefeated, and then where'd you go?
And then I lost 2 games after that.
So what was your record?
So I finished 4-2 out of 6 games. Not bad. And then I started ripping the packs.
Now
I got a good amount of packs. So what it means, I got packs, and then I got to go chase Judge and Ohtani.
And now is there another tournament or something?
Another tournament. Yeah, at the beginning of next month there will be, and I'm trying to.
He tells me he can't go to the Cadillac Club. No, I'm good, bro, because I'm gonna go spend time with my girlfriend. And it said you're playing MLB The Show all weekend.
I did that on Friday night, brother. I was done Friday night. I even sent you a voice memo. Did you listen to it?
No,
you did listen. So you didn't listen to it?
I don't remember. What did it say?
No, it was Yamamoto.
Oh yes, I did listen.
And then
to
in the background was bachata.
So that you did send it to me. You sent me a screenshot. So in the show, you were playing a game. You had Yamamoto. He had Yamamoto.
I had Yamamoto, and I pitched a shutout
against Yamamoto.
No, I had Yamamoto.
No, but it said Yamamoto won, Yamamoto lost. I saw.
Oh, then he must have had Yamamoto too. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, but how could you? That doesn't make any sense. How could you?
Because they're cards. They're cards.
I know, but you can't play the same guys, especially with the pitchers. That's stupid. He's starting Yamamoto.
He has the Yamamoto card. I have the Yamamoto card.
It makes no sense.
It does make sense. You're just old. Like it makes so much sense.
They didn't do that on Baseball Stars. All right, that does it for us. If you want the Soto bobblehead, the giveaway from yesterday, I had an extra one. I'll be giving that away this week on the podcast.
Get the other giveaway too before you sign off.
Stay tuned, subscribe, and if you're a subscriber, you'll be eligible to win a pair of field level tickets. Mets Yankees first Subway Series game, May 15th, out at Citi Field. All right, that does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.